All right, I think we're live here, and excited to be here on the very first night of the synthetic championships. And with me, as last time, Jay Davis, and very special guest Gary Palmisano from Churchill Downs, head of racing. And Gary, were you the creator of the synthetic championships?
Yeah, this is an idea that's been kicked around a couple of times by a couple of different people. Obviously, there's something similar to this called the all-weather championships in Europe, and in Europe, it bridges the gap during the winter season. A lot of the turf classics and whatnot end in October, November, and they don't start back up again until springtime. So they move to a synthetic series of races at different tracks throughout the winter and have built out a pretty robust sort of point system and whatnot. So having seen that and a couple people talking about it, and obviously with what we have going at Turfway with the quality of horses in the competitive fields, really felt like this was a chance to spotlight these types of horses that have an affinity for the synthetic surface. Obviously, you're going to get dirt horses, you're going to get turf horses along the way, but the hope here was that to give some horses that prefer synthetic surfaces a chance to point to something at the end of the year. We've all read the clippings. You know, Naira's going to have synthetic. I'm sure Gulfstream will utilize theirs more. So I could see a scenario somewhere down the road where there's some win in your ends and things like that, and this kind of becomes a bigger deal. But we got to start somewhere, and tonight's the night, and really excited about it, and appreciate your guys' efforts in helping us promote it.
Thanks. Yeah, no, we're fired up, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, year one. So
Yeah.
hopefully, there's no reason this can't grow. We can look back, 5, 10 years from now and say, "Gosh, it was only 1 million then."
Yeah, exactly. You know, obviously things are going well here in Kentucky, and the purse account's on the rise. So we're able to do some cool stuff and take some risk and take some chances and try to create more days that are attractive to horse players and casual fans. And we hope we did that today, and we hope we can keep growing it.
Yeah, and with the purse count, 1 million is a perfect place to start with 4 races. Do you see that this is something that could grow right away next year, and just kind of see how it goes from there?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we're fortunate in that things are again going very well in Kentucky, and yeah, this is all about balance, right? I mean, it was so great to see. I think there's 3 Grade 1 winners that have shipped in on these cards. A couple of these races are, especially the Prairie Bayou, I think are right on the cusp of becoming a Grade 3. So really wanted to try to attract quality horses and make sure we can attract the types of horses that can help us get over the hump. As the HRN piece, Mark, that you did noted, there's only a few synthetic graded stakes races out there. So we don't see any reason why over the next year or two, couple of years, that a couple of these races can't cross over that hurdle as well. And again, we know down the road that there's going to be more synthetic races and synthetic racetracks and big races on synthetic surfaces. So again, this provides an opportunity for horses that have an affinity for it to come take their shot.
Yeah, it makes sense. With more and more, tracks, like you said, installing synthetic tracks, there's going to be more stakes. And, from the graded stakes committee, it only makes sense to kind of earmark a certain amount of graded stakes to synthetic, more than just a couple that we got now. So, all right, let's jump in for everybody into race one. Start off with a 1.25 mile allowance. So this isn't easy to start, and we've got 12 down to 11 in here, and the 6 is 8 to 5. Jay, where were you going here?
Yeah, I don't mind the 6. I landed on the 13. I thought Dazzling Dictator. If you look back, the horse is 2 for 3 here, and since being picked up by Brissett, I thought it was kind of rounding into form. I had some interest on the 10 as well with Corrales picking up the mount, but I just don't know if that horse is as good as it was last year, so I'm a little bit hesitant there. And then I also thought the 4 could maybe sit kind of like a stalking trip that we saw last night a little bit, where maybe it just, sits off and then pounces at the end. So I was kind of leaning like 4-13 here.
All right. Gary, did you have a chance to look at this? Or
I was actually just looking at it just now. I mean, the first thing that jumps out to me is the obvious
until the opener.
The obvious lack of pace in this race.
Yep.
I have a hard time figuring out who's actually going to make the lead. Looking at the PPs, the 13 with Florent wide, I think he will probably ride an aggressive race here. So I would imagine him being pretty close. And then I think the 4 horse, as you mentioned, should be pretty close as well. The question is just what's the pace scenario look like here?
Yeah, I agree. That's what stood out to me. So I was right with you guys on the 13 and the 4. Pretty good prices at 4-1, 7-1.
Yeah, I
And
feel like the
then,
favorite's over bet, right?
yeah, and I was gonna say, these mile and a quarter races, certainly on dirt and not the Derby, but like just these like mile and a quarter allowances, at Churchill or mile 3/16 at Keeneland, or really pretty much anywhere, Saratoga. I think they tend to just always be one near the front. Not always, but more often than not. And these deep closers get overbet. So this 6 at 3-2, yeah, I could see this thing running off the board.
Yeah, I just wonder too, like how much is that kind of the Luis Saez factor there as well? Him picking up the mount. I kind of prefer him on speed, but wouldn't surprise me if this horse won. I just went elsewhere.
Yeah, and I threw the 9 in as the more I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is a really tough race. Gary, like you said, not a lot of pace, but still a little murky on the pace. So I kind of threw the 9 as a third option, and then the 3, the Brad Cox. I kind of hated to use that, but I used it as a B. It kind of had some pretty big closes at Indiana, and if Machado can kind of stay mid pack and not get too far back, I think that one will have a big close. But I'm definitely going to be against the closers here. So what are we up to? $1.25 on the pick 5, and what was the opening night pick 5, Gary? It was over 250, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean it hovers around the 250 mark. So seeing this closing in on 150 or so will probably tell me that this is going to end up somewhere in the 350 to 400 range when we get the ADW dump at the end, which would be an exciting start for sure.
Wow. Yeah.
Don't know what the handle expectation is for tonight. I think this is a great card. I think some of the nighttime cards are sort of plateaued. There's just not that much. Your audience is a little bit more limited than daytime. So, a traditional Saturday night there might do 3.5 or 3.8. Anything above 5 or 5.5, I'll be doing backflips. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, I'm writing it down. 5 or 5.5. You're talking about $5.5 million for the card.
Yeah, 5.5 gets you lunch next week, Mark.
All right. Well, Jay and I are going to do our best to kind of help.
I did contribute as much as I could, so I'm doing my part.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, I think this is kind of like appointment, play, right? Like you see a card like this, and people are gonna, they're gonna go out of their way to make sure they can play it, either have the time or get the picks in and get down. So you don't want to miss these kinds of races, which are fantastic. So good luck to everybody as they're loading in here for a mile and a quarter opener and kickoff of year 1 of the synthetic championship. So exciting. We were here on year 1. We can say here's so all right, we'll just we can kind of talk this race as it goes. Getting close. That way we don't have to talk over Tony. So we were talking about, okay, so the 13, the 4, or the 9 possibly being in the front.
Yeah, I know Tifos had the 9 on the lead, so let's see what happens here.
There goes Flo on the 13.
But they're going quick.
There they are, 4, 13, and 9. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell how quick they're going at that distance. The other thing I had, we were just kind of chatting, but I had the stats up. The routes this week have been a little bit outside. So that was another thing I thought was interesting about the 13 here. Didn't hate that he was outside. 44-1 on the lead.
Yeah, it seemed like coming down the stretch, that middle of the track, kind of outside, was the place to be for sure.
Yeah, I like the spot for the 13 if you can just sit there and just wait this 12 out.
I do too.
Yeah, just write it out. Let's see. What did we get to the pool size?
It looked like about 150, 155 last click, something like that.
282 is what I've got.
Oh, all right. Wow. Even better.
Yeah, pretty nice. Oh wow, look at that 6 with. I mean, I thought he would be a dead closer. He's already up to 3rd.
Yeah, that's the Saez factor. He's forward on
Yeah,
anything he's on, so
yeah,
that's I guess to be expected.
yeah. I mean, that's smart. I mean, I think some of these riders. I mean, you want to ride the horse the way your horse wants to be ridden, but at the same time, you can't just be drawing dead and sit in the back if there's no pace.
This feels like a race that's gonna collapse a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Maybe. Can't
maybe.
tell.
Like to see if this 4 is in a good spot. No, he's done.
Cox is weaving through the field back there a little bit.
All
Does the
right.
13 have? Do we have horse with the 13?
Yeah, we do. We do. Flo.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's go, Flo.
Kick on, Flo.
Here comes the 3. And who's in the grandstand? The 7? No, it's not going to get there. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of with the 3. Wow.
See, that's the middle of the track benefit right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they just kind of went quick in the middle too, so that kind of sped things up.
Yeah, I think the 6 coming and pressing Flo there changed the complexity of that race. I don't think Flo wanted to move early. He knew he had the 44-1 collared on his inside, and Saez made him make a little move there. Else, I think the 13 was a winner.
Yeah.
Good fun
right,
starts of the night. I expect a lot of races along those same lines, close finishes and competitive heats.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like almost 700,000 in that race, so that bodes well for the 9.
That's a great start, no doubt.
All right, awesome. Well, I know you got to run, but really appreciate you joining us, and congrats to everybody there for kicking off year 1 on the synthetic championships, and we got 8 more to go, so this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate what you guys do covering not only our tracks but all of racing.
Thanks. We love it. That's what we love to do.
See you guys. Have fun tonight. Catch some tickets.
All right.
Yeah.
See you, Gary. So
there's the Brad Cox factor in Kentucky right there.
Yeah.
It's always hard to beat him,
Well, it seemed like Saez just kind of changed that whole race, right? If Saez doesn't go, the 13 probably wins. So the 6 forces the hand on the 13, does nothing, sets it up for the 3.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise for Saez to do that. But again, that's kind of, his modus operandi. So
yeah,
didn't work out, but
yeah, exactly. Let's throw up our picks here. Let's see. Take the video down and show. All right, so I got to get the. All right, so this was your picks, Jay. So yeah, 4, 13, and 3.
Yeah, had the 3 as a B, not for any specific reason. Was just trying to catch. I thought the 3 would go off as the fade, which it did. Was just trying to catch a square price there, but still alive in the pick 5. And moving into the next race, the 9-11 here. Hopefully, we can connect something.
Yeah, for sure. I was 3, 7, 11 here, and then let me just put my picks up here. I went pretty deep because I was just trying to a couple of, like we talked about some before we went on the air. Couple sneaky prices. I thought in race 3, the 13 as a B was a nice price, and then I don't know if I'm fishing, but in race 5, I thought that 14 was interesting. I think it's coming off like 3 wins in a row, and just completely disregarded. And also on the outside, like I was saying, it's coming off 4 wins and 5 out of 6 at Indiana, but it's sort of just destroying fields up there. So I thought that that 14 was worth a shot.
Yeah, I didn't mind that horse. Sandra gets the mount, just won on it, as you mentioned, in Indiana last time on a sloppy track. I mean, the thing is, all of these fields are just absolutely loaded. Everyone's sending their best in for these races. So I thought overall it was very tough.
Yeah.
I tried to stand my ground and just make it a little bit slim, 2 A's and basically 1 B for my entire ticket. And we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. That's yeah. I mean, but even here, you just connect a pick 3, you're good. Even doubles, you can be good. I mean, 2-1, not great, but gets you started at least.
Hey, it's we're alive, so it's better than being dead. I'll take that.
Yeah. There you go. So anyway, okay. Let's see what our prices are. No prices yet. Well, that's a pretty big start though. 280 in the pick 5. As deep as these fields are, I mean, you catch one price and you're good.
Yeah, that's a decent pool. I'm curious what the late will be as well. I think it'll be probably even higher than that, so that should be good. I will say, Mark, I'm about 30 minutes outside of the track, and I do think we just got a little precipitation. It's starting to rain a little bit, so I don't know if that's going to affect anything, but it is a light sprinkle here right now.
Okay, good to know. Right up the road. All right, cool. So let's talk about the first timers a little bit. And wow, there's some prices. Big Superfecta, $268 for a dime. Not too much on the exactor, try. So
not bad.
Not bad. All right, so I'm gonna stop that. Yeah, let's talk about these firsters. And we've talked about the first timer report. In fact, I wanted to mention on YouTube, if you go into the description, we've got a couple offers for free reports. There's a free report tonight on the Sire Moves report, so you can get in there and download that. And it's just invaluable for these synthetic races where you've got turf horses coming on the synthetic. You want to know if they've got the pedigree to handle that or even move up. And there's also an offer there to get 50% off our pro reports. So that's a great option. Let's pull up the first time power reports because we got a lot of firsters here. And all right, there we go. Before we jump in, just to kind of give everybody an overview. So so this is our first time power report, and first timers are I think sometimes the bane of the existence for horse players, but I know we've been kind of working to get better and better at them, and it seems like it's a big advantage, not to be going 5 or 6 deep in these first timer races. If you can go, 1 or 2 deep here, that can really help you in the other legs. And so the way it works, a 5-star rating, those win at 22%. On the morning line, they based on the morning line, they would win about 17%, and so we get a nice jump on those. 4 stars win about 12.5%, and then it just kind of goes down there. 1 stars less than 3%. So some of those, most of them are prices, but not always. Sometimes some of those are, under 10 to 1, and you can almost completely toss them if they're a 1 star. So jumping ahead to race 2, let me find the spot here. The first one is the 10 Mashburn. I didn't really give him any chance to do.
Yeah, I did not either myself. So
okay, so Darren Miller, not known for first timers, 0 for 14 at Turfway, 2 for 76 overall. That's probably a pretty easy toss for everybody. Some trainers just aren't looking to win first time out. This one was really interesting, right? The Doug O'Neill horse working well. We both used him. We've rated him as a 4-star here. And I should say a big part of the ratings is how it fits, how a first timer fits with the speed figures of the horses that have run. And so this kind of says that this horse, he does fit with those. He doesn't have him over a barrel or anything, that he's a 5-star. And then, I would say, let's see. So Doug O'Neill 0 for 2 as a first timer at Turfway, but he's 2 for 31 overall in synthetic, but that's probably got to be mostly Golden Gate, right?
Yeah, probably all West Coast there, I would imagine.
Yeah. So I guess my point there is those stats are based on a Southern California trainer shipping to Golden Gate, probably horses that can't win at Santa Anita and Del Mar, so they may not be well intended. I'm going a little bit on a limb, but I think that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. It's really hard to say if it's, Golden Gate, that's going to be lesser kind of horses for this. So I don't know if you can read too much into that. At least I didn't.
Yeah. Right. I guess the point is I think you can ignore it or reasonably ignore it. So okay, but the horse is working fast. As I said, we're both using him. Machado's up. I thought that was a positive sign. The thing I just didn't like was the Omaha Beach stats aren't super great. I'm not really worried about 0 for 10 first time out, but Omaha Beach's overall are only 2 for 27. So it's probably not a reason not to play a horse that you think fits and is working well, but at the same time, it is a cause for concern.
Yeah, I mean, my golden rule here is that I don't mind using first-time starters at Turfway if they are kind of sprinting. It's when they're going long that I have some concerns. So I don't mind taking a chance on, a Doug O'Neill horse coming in here first time. The works look good. I actually caught some video of the horse working with another one who was, I believe the name was, what was it? Luna Tap, who...
Okay.
I think, just produced like 50 bear last out. Prior to that, it was like 70 plus bears. So like, that's pretty strong. And in the video, the horse looked good. It was right alongside, wasn't, being asked much. So based on that, I thought it was worth a shot. Yeah. I mean, outside of that, I was looking at the same report, Mark. Nothing really drew my attention. I wasn't too crazy about any of the other first-time starters, but I thought the 11 at what might be a price was worth taking a shot at.
Yeah. I went and used the 7, the Mike Maker firster. Saez was up. That was positive. The sire stats on Pharaoh were positive. Mike Maker not, really targeting here. We see a lot of red. So that red is the impact number. It's like kind of like an ROI type number. So even though he's winning, 11% overall, 12% at Turfway, the minus 31% means he's winning about 30% less than he should based on the odds of the horses. But the horse was working really well. And to me, that was just kind of something that, I didn't want to leave this horse off. He had some good gate works. And he's been working over synthetic pretty well. So that, given that, he could have started this horse at Churchill or Keeneland, and the fact that they're saving him for Turfway, I think, was a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious what it says about the 8. I didn't dive into this one too much, but I think it's always worth noting when Corrales picks up a mount. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, Troy Newton, 0 for 5 at Turfway, but 2 for 20 overall. With a very positive impact. So he basically won with a couple pricey first timers, or at least one pricey one. So not a barn I'm really super familiar with, but those aren't bad stats.
No, it's always I got to pay attention on whatever Corrales is on here at Turfway.
Yeah, I mean that's a great rule of thumb. He definitely knows his way around the track.
Yeah, and it looks like they're 33% together. Not a ton of starts together, but relatively positive, it looks like.
Nash Potatoes, good name.
Great name.
Yeah, and he's working at HPT, which I'm not familiar with that track exactly, but he's got, I don't want to call them bullets, but first to 2, first to 3, first to 7. So he's, I guess, working faster than some of the others there.
Yeah, doesn't look bad at all. And at this price, I mean, 11-1, how could you fault anyone for taking that?
Yeah, for sure. And then of the horses that have run, I was going with the 3. I thought with Gaffleon last time at Keeneland, he kind of tracked a hot pace on the outside. Ran a pretty good third to Touchy and Mo Quality. And I think were you on the 9 or who?
Yeah, so I used the 3 as well. The 3 was a B. I landed on the 9 just because it looks like Lobo tried to get this horse on turf first out, didn't really do anything. Second out, does find the turf, popped a decent number for this level. Was like a length and a half behind the winner in that race, and now ships him over here to run for an 80K maiden special weight. So in my opinion, it looks like Lobo thought something of this horse, and I always kind of track that when it comes to his horses. I think he spots them very well, so that was one I landed on.
Yeah. Yeah. I had him as a B, and then I moved him off. I just thought I went back and forth, and some of these other races were so tough that, it's like you got to start cutting something somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's Turfway, and then that ticket price can get very expensive very quickly.
Yeah. So I got lucky on that last race. I just wanted to show you guys. I'm kind of a big well, one of my favorite little plays is like supers, and then even like little dime supers and stuff, and just kind of put one in. Let's see if I can get that to show. I don't know if you can see that, but these two superfectas, I got nice about 10-1 there. But for a dime, what I did was the horses we were kind of talking about, the 3, 4, 9, and 13, just really played those first and second. Kind of did a pseudo all in third, and then in fourth, I put basically 3 horses that were 30 or 45-1 in there, and then I just kind of flipped it. And lo and behold, it looks like because the 11 was the 7 and the 11 both hit the board, so I actually hit it twice, virtue of them both hitting, which is
look at that. Way to go, Mark. Nice ticket structure there.
So yeah, it's just kind of a fun little way to do it. Especially what to me works out best in big fields where you can have a closer that's going to run up. Those horses were 30, 40-1. They weren't going to win. You don't have to worry about them usually winning or running second, and so that kind of makes your ticket tighter. And then it seems to work on like maybe turf routes, and then in synthetic, especially synthetic routes too. So something I like to try.
Yeah, it was interesting. Again, I think Luis kind of blew up that race a little bit, not in a bad way, but it was just kind of surprising to see the tactics there, trying to go for the front, which obviously worked out well for you. So good job.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta teach me some of those superfecta ways, Mark. I'm still a horizontal guy myself. Pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s. I'm kind of scared to try those bets.
There you go. Yeah, we got to work on it. The race 3, how about that? We can work on it. This one, is just kind of tough. I think it works well too, like when you have a firm grasp of the top of the ticket. And here, not that we don't like our plays, but with firsters, it's just tough, right? And one could run well, and then the other ones could be nowhere. And so this is a race I think you could get, like we just kind of talked through that 8 at 11-1. Horse like, well, he's 9-1 now. Horse like that could easily hit the board. And
it's still early on in the meet, and I've noticed throughout the years here at Turfway that within the first 2-3 weeks, people will kind of sleep on Corrales mounts, and then they kind of wise up, obviously. So like this is kind of the prime time to get some of those prices that he's on, and this very well might be another one that we might see here.
Yeah, that's a great point. What did you think of anything of the 14? I thought he was a little interesting, but
I'm going to be honest with you. I just saw that horse Drew in now. I did not see that when I was capping it, but it does look very dangerous. I mean, it looked like it put in a serious close. It was still off by 10.5 from the winner.
Yeah.
But the notes do say it got bumped and forced out. Was 3 wide.
That was the big Baffert horse. The Baffert returned to Churchill with the $3 million horse.
Yeah, Barnes. That was Barnes, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I said, kind of looked over this one, didn't realize it got in, and now I'm kind of kicking myself because at 7-1, that seems like a very playable horse.
Yeah. Yeah, he was right. You just kind of had to decide, where to go. I caught him and I went 3, 7, 11, but there's a couple of horses in here that are definitely playable. The 4 is 6-1, but he was even lower. I think 4-1 morning line. So there's a lot of different directions. So the 11, the O'Neill firster we talked about, 10-1 morning line. He's down to 4-1. So good support there. And then of course the 3 and the 7 are 7-2.
Yeah, it's always funny when I see like horses like this 11 where they're taking money. I'm a little bit happy, but a little bit sad. Where it's like, oh, maybe someone else knows something as well, so it's like a good sign. But at the same time,
Right.
you're like, oh, I want that morning line price.
Yeah, but you're down in the pick 5, right? So
yeah,
hopefully you get a little bit in between, right?
Exactly. You know what? At the end of the day, if you can just connect 5 in a row, I don't think you can ever really complain. It's just at Turfway, that's a tall ask.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Let's look at the track, because we were talking about how the track's playing, and it seems like it's changed a little bit. And also, just want to remind everyone, so you were talking about the precipitation. Is it still getting a little bit of precip?
Yeah, so I'm in my garage right now, so I can't hear too well, and I can't really tell out the window. But it sounded like sprinkles. I don't know. Can you tell on the track feed there at all? It doesn't look like you can really.
I can't. No. You can check the radar, but I can check on my phone.
Yeah, I can check. I'll check the local app here real quick.
I mean, it can make a difference. Probably not sprinkles, right? But maybe. No,
you know what? It has it as possible light rain, but really not moving in until 10, so we might be safe.
Okay. Yeah, it looks. Oh gosh, we got a big front moving into Louisville, but yeah, we're west of you guys. Yeah, it looks like there's a little something coming.
I think it's just sprinkles. It probably won't affect it too much.
All right.
I was going to ask you, Mark, any thoughts on this one here? I thought it ran pretty well at Keeneland first out, showed some speed, kind of faded, and then next out they moved it to Churchill and just really didn't put anything together. I'm just kind of curious. Maybe this horse might take to the synthetic, but
yeah, I mean, Cantharoses are usually pretty, decent overall on synthetic, not like like an A type, but yeah. There were a few in here that worried me. This was one of them. That's a lot of speed that he showed first out, and those are tough races. That $120,000 maiden special at Churchill. So yeah, I didn't like him enough to use him. Wow, 18-1 though. Didn't see that.
I know, and it looks like, at least according to DRF, it was on a closer bias the last 2 out, which maybe that plays into it. And John Enos, he's not too shabby here.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. He doesn't rate a sire move, but I can pull up the sire stats and we can take a look. For whatever that's worth. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Big stat. So yeah, all right, even better than I thought. That is kind of an A-type sire. 16% for Cantharos on the synthetic. Not bad. Overall, a lot of decent sires here. The 3 and the 4, 0 for 5. So there's not really a lot of data. No data on the 6.
Yeah, and again, it looks like the public's just kind of leaning on Luis here. 7 was 5-2 there, I think.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I mean, I think the 7 and yeah, it's first time out maker. I mean, that's getting low for a first time maker, but like I said too, the ROI stats weren't great, so maybe they just get a little bit over bet. Doesn't mean that he's still winning 10, 11, 12%, so not terrible.
Right.
But yeah, in the 11, we've got, the Omaha Beach stats aren't great. I thought the 3 though ran a really nice race. Was it first time or okay? So 3, he started 3 times. So this is a 4th time out. Maybe that's too many starts and he's just kind of a loser by now. I don't know, but
yeah, I was a little wary in the 3 just because of that. It seemed to me like it's had fair enough chances at this point, which is why I used it as a B. But on paper, this horse should probably do pretty well here. So like you said, unless it's just kind of a lifetime loser at this point, remains to be seen.
Yeah. Okay. And then I wanted to pull up the track trends just because we can get a look here. But it seemed like outside was best on the routes this week, but sprinting a little different. So let's just take a look at this here. Fit that in. So kind of front and 53% stalkers. So I guess that's, you just kind of want to be in the middle, maybe. So not
Yeah,
really.
I mean, I think we just saw it with that Brad Cox winning from the outside path there. It looked really strong, really well, and that's exactly what I saw last night as well. So it doesn't seem like things have changed too much. Gosh, those 1 through 3 post positions not too strong, are they?
No, but that's, I mean, it's not bad though. I mean, I think you were just used to, a lot of tracks were on the dirt, maybe the inside's pretty good. But these are 10, the field size is 10.7. So probably not terrible at 33%, but it's just the 4 through 6 is, bigger. And then, but let's look at how the speed is winning from the middle or the outside more than the inside.
Yeah.
So, for where that's worth. All right. So we got 2 minutes. Let's go back to the video. And yeah, so I mean, quite a few could jump up here. I mean, we talked about the 8, we talked about the 1.
Yeah, my 9 is 12 to 1. I don't mind that price at all. I think that's fair.
Yeah, the 9, yeah, that you've got. So, then this 4 is not even terrible.
No, not at all.
It's pretty chilly. It's coming down to 7 to 1.
Well, it's Marquez. They had Pratt up first time out, which should tell you something from the get-go. And he's always deadly second time out. So that's a very square price, I think.
Yeah. All right. Any pick 4s? You're going to throw the 14 in?
I should. That's on me for not seeing that originally. But I think we're just going to let this pick 5 right out. Cross my fingers, hope for the best, see what happens.
What do you think about when a horse like the 14 draws in? Like you said, you didn't notice it. I didn't notice it the first couple times I went through. I always feel like you get like an extra point on the odds sometimes when those kind of horses are in,
100%. I mean, I'm look at me. It just happened to me. I think it happens to quite a few people. You just don't scroll down far enough, what have you. Don't check scratches, and you don't even notice it.
Right. I'm gonna use him in a small pick 4 because, like I said, I got a couple prices that I kind of liked in later races.
Actually, yeah, Mark, you talked me into it. I'm gonna run a double. I'm gonna do a 14 into the 8-10 next race just to save myself some headache.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, plus we were talking about the outside being decent. Yeah. All right. Well, good luck, everybody, as we're loading here, and we'll see if it's one of the first timers or some of these I've run can put it together here. 80,000 maiden 2-year-olds.
Wow, just very surprised. Excuse me, very surprised to see Maker the favorite on first time starter. I mean, I'm sure Luis plays a factor in that. It's just
I think they just didn't know where to go, right? It's like
it is tough.
Yeah, the 3 looked all right, but there's not perfect. The 4, same thing.
I thought for sure the 3 would be the favorite, which is not far off, and maybe that changes at last click. But just 7 wasn't for me at this price.
Yeah, and the 11's bet down, so that he was 10 to 1 morning line bet down to 4.
And the 14 just took some money too, down to 5 to 1.
I mean, the board says it's those 4, but we'll see. All right. Well, good luck, everybody, and we'll see how the sprints are playing here on race 2 on the Synthetic Champs night. And keep Tony on mute so he doesn't overpower us.
I was hoping to hear him tonight, but all right.
He certainly gets into his calls, doesn't he?
I like Tony. He seems like a good guy. I'm a fan.
Oh, he's a great guy. Yeah, I had a chance to meet him a few times, and yeah, he's a great guy. I just love his enthusiasm. Anybody that's that enthusiastic about races and calling is fun. I mean, he's always getting into it, and I like too how he'll call a horse's big move, and then if it doesn't win, like he'll actually talk it through. You know, it's like you're just like right there with him. Well, I thought the 5 looked like a winner, but then
yeah, I'll tell you what too. At Churchill, he was kind of doing some handicapping, and I thought he did really well this year. So hats off to him. He's jack of all trades.
There you go. Yeah, he does that in between race show with some of the guys and girls, and so all right. Let's see. We got.
What do we think about the pace here, Mark? Do we think this one goes again? Like, who do we think gets the lead here?
Yeah, I think you probably see the 1 go, but I thought the 3 could go as well. You know, with just weaker competition than it's seen. The 4 could
14,
go.
6.
Yeah, it's just who knows. 14 and the 7. All right, there's the maker. 5.
We knew Saez was going to send, right? That's kind of his move.
Did he send or the horse just go? Because he got out there quick.
That's a good question. It does kind of look like the horse right now.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see how the track plays going 21 and 4. Does he hold together?
I mean, if he can hold on, that would be something special.
All right, so we got the 14 and 6 stalking. The 14 actually looks like he's in a good spot.
Yep.
Where's everybody? 3 and 11 are kind of far back. And don't tell me the 6 going to win at 59 to 1. 6 is coming up the rail and
Coming up the rail.
Pretty good. Who's going to catch him?
Ooh.
3's got horse, but he's got a lot of work to do. Here comes the 11. He's got a lot of work to do.
Oh boy.
Oliver at 14 is not going to get there. He's home, huh?
Oh man. Yikes. Was not on that one at all.
No, not me either. Me neither. They do pay 4 or 5 here, though. That's good, right?
Yeah. Hopefully I can get there. Let's see. Was that Gavin Ashton? It looks like.
Yeah, Michelle Lovell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a nice work. There's a couple good gate works. 48-1 at Churchill from the gate. So, yeah, maybe we should have given that one a little more. Louisiana bred.
Yeah. What is that? Jay Gatsby? Is that me?
There you go. Jay. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a race where there wasn't anything clear, I mean, I guess the 7 just kind of set it up for somebody stalking, but he kind of won from second, right? Just kind of like the stats shows.
No,
second or third. I mean,
yeah, the 6 did very well. It was never landing there, but
yeah,
you know, Saez went to the lead, and this horse ran on. It's pretty strong. Just took the rail and did well. And that's the thing about these races is that when you have these first-time starters at Turfway, they're sprinting. You have some horses on paper who just haven't seen, you know, to be able to get it done in 2 or 3 or 4 races. Sometimes it is good to just kind of like lay out and go after some of those prices.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I didn't do, but there you go. Hindsight 2020, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple good works. I mean, not bad. In fact, yeah, we should pull up the comments. Let's see if anybody's see if I can find them here. Oh, there's the chat. Hopefully somebody got it. All right. Winner number 11. Nope, those are.
You have to think too that there's quite a few tickets out there that are live. I would imagine that there's a handful of people who kind of like, you know, single cocks, maybe pressing all there.
Yeah.
Skinning up from there. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the inquiry is about. Did you see anything?
I think it was it the 7 that kind of came out there in the stretch? I'm not sure if they're looking at that or the start here.
It's like they're looking at the start on something. Oh, somebody didn't start. Hardly. Or got destroyed there. Oh, yeah, look, see, somebody comes way. The gate didn't break for the 8. Either the 8 didn't run or the gate didn't break. It's hard to tell. Yeah, well, that's the mashed potatoes there. Looks like he just he might have been held. It's hard to tell. So
yeah, it's tough to see from that angle.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that shouldn't affect the finish though. That's a big one. If you got that one, congrats. That's a big eliminator.
Yeah, that'll be a nice double. That'll spice up the pools a bit. Hopefully someone out there had it.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, and just if you're watching tonight, don't forget to like and subscribe. Send us some comments, and we'll kind of answer your questions or whatever advice we can offer. Yeah, if you like and subscribe, then you get an alert every time we start another live channel, so you don't miss any live events. 59-1. Whew. Wow.
Yeah, that was the longest shot in the field, right?
Yeah, I don't know what would have been longer, but there was a 64 and a 50. So
that's a very Turfway result right there.
Yeah. But I was kind of worried about that. We were talking about all those horses that looked good-ish, but kind of had a little bit of question mark to them, and then we're kind of talking about the 14. But yeah, I mean the 7 going out so hard, and like I said, it was hard to tell if that was Louis or the horse, but that kind of did him in.
It did look kind of like it was the horse. It looked like Luis was just on for the ride there, but nonetheless, kind of blew things up, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, there's the Super 1,500 for a dime. It's pretty nice. Pretty healthy on the rest of the stuff too.
Yep. Yeah, $500 exacta there for $1. Not too bad.
Yep. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess that's time to reload.
It's time to move on. Let's just act like that never happened.
Can we do that? I guess.
I'm going to try. Yeah, I'll think about it for a couple more minutes, then I'll try.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to stick around through probably race 5. So we'll cover the first couple of the big stakes races. We start, and then there's a pick 4, races 4 through 7 on the 4 $250,000 stakes.
Oh, good to know. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So here, I'll pull up your ticket here so we can kind of talk that through. Let's take a look. So here's the rest of your pick 5.
Yeah, I in the next race, so I landed on the 8 and the 10. When it comes to the 10, I'm a big fan of OXO as owners, so I'm kind of a stand for them. But if you look at the form, after Walden picked up this horse in training, it seems like it's been doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't crazy about the cutback in distance, but if you go back to its prior Turfway races, it's been very competitive. Been 1-2 all along the way there. And then the 8 Mendelssohn March might be your favorite, so nothing crazy to say there. It just seems like, pretty consistent type, so couldn't really stand against it.
Right. Yeah, I did like the 10, and I was a little surprised that it was 10-1. Wasn't overly picked. I like the 6 Racecraft, just because of his overall synthetic record, just pretty strong routing. I think, what was it? He is 8 of 18 on a synthetic route, and 6 for 12 at a mile on synthetic.
But what do we think Luis does on this horse? I mean, this is not exactly a speed horse. Is he just going to full sing again, or?
I think maybe he learned his lesson. There's a lot of speed in here, so I don't think that's the concern. I think maybe, maybe what he did was overcompensate, right, last time. So here's my early picks. Yeah, so here I was 1, 6, 10, but also the 7 and 13. Give some consideration to them. And well, the 6 is 3-1. So all right, that's not great. The 10 is down to 6-1. So he's getting some play. And then the 1, I thought this Cox you had to use, given the fact that he'd run well on, synthetic both times. Well-ish. I mean, he's got a third and a fourth, but it looks like they were relatively tough races. And I thought this 13 was a nice kind of sneaky play here on the outside.
Yeah, agreed. The 13 was who I used for a B here. It's kind of hard to tell on the form. Like, this horse is not exactly the consistent type, but runs well enough each race, going from Churchill to Keeneland, Churchill. I thought this horse was live. I wasn't crazy about the Cox horse. Anytime Cox is in Kentucky, you got to pay attention and put up notice. But I thought this horse might take money, and I was just looking for other horses. So that's why I pretty much landed on the 8, 10, and 13 here.
Okay. And what did you think of the 7? That was the one I was kind of having the most trouble with.
I wasn't crazy about the 7. It was previously trained by Brad Cox, and anytime a Cox horse gets dumped, I'm kind of thinking like, well, if he doesn't want it, do I want it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But granted, next out, it did run well enough. I just kind of landed it elsewhere, but I wouldn't fault anyone for taking that.
Yeah. Yeah, tough race. But it did look like there was a decent amount of speed in here, didn't it? With the 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and I think even the 7 might go too. Yeah, you've got the 3. Even the 2 has shown speed in the past as well. The 1's going to have to go from that rail position. That's why I was kind of leaning on the 10. It's kind of my top choice in here. I think this horse can sit off. If you look at the last 2 races, it's been very far back. But if you go prior to that, it doesn't have to be that far back off. So I'm looking for that stalker trip from the 10 on the outside, just kind of stay in one path and ride it home.
Right. Okay, and then let's why don't we talk about the stakes races for a second here. So race 4. What'd you make of this Dana's Beauty at 2-1?
I see. That's the thing. So race 4, I'm going to be honest with you, I did not get too creative. I landed on the 4 and the 2, which are going to be the 2 chalks in that race. So I didn't have a strong opinion, at least when it comes to getting a price in there. I thought the 2 favorites looked strong. Again, it's kind of, Luis might actually get an okay enough speed horse here, so he can probably send this one to the front and hope to hang on. But I didn't really like any of the other prices in there.
Yeah. I was kind of the same way with 4 and the 2. I thought the 7 and the 8 were okay. Kind of really tepid, maybe used as a B, maybe not. I did put them on. Yeah, I did put them on as Bs, but wasn't crazy about them. I don't know. The 4, it just seems like it's one of those where it was it's just like a little bit ahead of the others, right? Just not like massively ahead. So to be 2-1 in there.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the 4 is a horse to beat. I also landed on the 2. Again, nothing surprising there. Just the class of the field. Shipping this horse in from Woodbine. Mark Cassidy probably thinks it's got a shot in here. So you look at the others, and I think those 2 kind of lay over everyone. Don't get me wrong. Like the 5, I used as a B in here. You go back to some prior races at Turfway, it kind of fits. But for me, 2 and 4 were the top picks.
Okay. Yeah, I was same thing. I was 4, but just marginally over the 2, and then the 7, 8 maybe after that. And then race 5 is really interesting. We've got a lot of speed in there. We've got Nicest Pie 4 for 5 or 4 for 4 at Turfway. We got Uppercase for Lobo. Got BG Warrior in there, setting a lot of pace. What were your thoughts on race 5?
Yeah, so for me, I thought this pace looked nuclear. I thought for sure this is going to set up for a collapse. And so I landed on the 4, Corrales and Ward, who can kind of sit off there and maybe bring it home. And then also the other horse that I thought was super interesting, not really, an amazing price or anything at 3-1, was the 5 for Lobo, who, kind of looks like speed on paper. But if you go back, this horse doesn't need the lead to win. It's versatile. So those were the 2 I landed on. I just think this looks like a really hot pace, and it probably falls apart.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the 5 looked best to me, uppercase, maybe coming off it a little bit. The 14 was the kind of my bomb in there at 30-1. So I was just kind of playing around with that one. And, I think it got to respect Nice as Pie. PG Warrior, there's probably too much speed for it, but I think you do have to respect PG Warrior a little bit, because that horse is just so fast, and from time to time will just go and, rip off wins on incredible paces.
Oh, trust me, I've seen it happen when I tried to play against it last year. So yeah, definitely that horse can win. Your 14 is very interesting. What did it rattle off 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row now? I mean, that's nothing to take a stick at.
And if you look at the comments starting 4 back, now these aren't big fields, but No Pace kind of came off it a little bit. Mild Drive drew off. Race after that, strong hand ride. Another mild ride. And then the last one, I think it faced a lot better horses, but it was at 5 furlongs in the slot. It says it was closing that day, so I'm not sure. But, generally at Indiana, I don't think you're, coming off the pace at 5 furlongs in the slot too often. So I thought that.
No, I wouldn't think so. And it did. So that race it came out of in the slop was actually pretty strong. It was granted it's Indiana, so the fields are a little bit short, but the horses in that race weren't too terrible. So I like that pick. I think it's definitely live. Did you have any thoughts about the 11 though? The Clement?
I did want to use that one as a B, just because of the record of 5 for 13 lifetime. 10 of 13 in the money, and the Speightstown sire stats was actually a positive move to get even better from a turf sprint to a synthetic sprint. So, and like we were talking about the outside potentially being a little better. So I thought there was a lot to like on the 11, so I wanted to include it.
Yeah, it's a spicy race. I was just counting for a meltdown a little bit, hence why the 5 and 10 maybe. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm looking here for super effective bombs. I'm kind of looking for something off the pace, but what do you think of the 4 here? I couldn't really, for 22-1. I don't know. I mean, the horse seems okay. It's got 1 Turfway race. It kind of closed, 9th by 8, finished 5th by 4. Looks like it might have been an okay field or fairly decent. It's just kind of hard to tell, right? And he was wide. Got a nice win on the turf at Hawthorne. Then they jump him up to a pretty tough stake. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I'm just really not familiar with the trainer. I don't follow Hawthorne too much, to be honest with you. I know it did have a race here back in March of 2024. Did decent enough in that one. That was a 40K non-2 winners. I wouldn't fault anyone for using this horse, especially at this price. Like, it at least looks consistent in the past turf races.
Yeah. And I think it just kind of comes down to is how fast does this pace get, right? Because if they go fast, Time Form has the 1, 2, and 3 all kind of going, and then you've got some speed from the 12, perhaps, if they try to clear from out there. So I think there is some potential for this pace to get hot, and then that's the great thing too. Like if you're playing those superfectas, it's hard when you've got we got a 12 horse field. But if it's a hot pace and you can throw 4 or 5 of the front runners out, now you have a 9-horse field, and it's a lot more manageable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for the 4 at 22-1, this is you got to work this into your superfecta bet, Mark. I don't know if it wins, but I think those second, third, and fourth legs for sure, that'll spice things up.
Yeah. I think we've got a special guest that's going to join us here in a little bit, so looking forward to that. And we've got Jay over. We just cracked 1,000 concurrent viewers, and so that's pretty cool. And if you're watching, on YouTube, but there's also people on X, Twitter, and other, I think on Facebook too. So it adds up. Our little software adds all the streams together.
Nice. Well, out of those 1,000 viewers, do we know if anyone had the 6 last race? I would love to hear that.
Did anyone? Maybe it was a computer team that had the 6.
You can lie and just say you had it. It's fine. We're not going to check you or anything.
Oh, that's true. Somebody said winner 6. Juan Carlos.
Oh, is that for this race or the last one?
Yeah. No, you're right. This race. And we got somebody on Banjo Chris.
Okay. I like that one. Who's that? Loy? I don't know how to say that name, but yeah, I like 13.
Yeah, that would be nice. All right, I'll try to see if I can make sense of a superfecta here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try another double here, Mark. Let's see. Let's do. We'll do a 10-13.
Okay.
Maybe into the 2, I guess. I think the 4 is going to be favorite, so I'll try to get some value out of this. I'll do 10-13 into the 2.
And what does a 10-13 into the 2 double pay?
Let's check it. 1 second.
Pretty good.
Oh, my app just crashed. Hold on.
They look about $100 each.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's a good neighborhood. Let's see. All right. See if
Yeah, so 10-13 into the 2, you're right, about $100. Into the 4, it drops significantly. So the 10 into the 4 is 22. 13 into the 4 is 21. So not great, but not bad.
Okay. Did you think anything of the Lobo here, the Candy Nun?
I considered it. I was just so I think Lobo's always live. Like I said, I think he's one of the best trainers that ships in here, that spots his horses very well. It's just I haven't seen a figure come out of that horse yet that really kind of like competes with this field. And that's the only reason I wasn't on it. But that price is nice too.
Yeah, and then you used the 8 a little bit, or
I did, yeah. I just thought the 8 was, decent enough here in this field. Relatively consistent. I don't think this horse has ever been on the synth. No, I don't. No, it doesn't look like it. But yeah, this horse is just, it seems to run consistently. You go back to its dirt races, it's around the same as what you're seeing there in the last few turf races. So I at 9-1, I think that's actually a great price. I was expecting this horse to actually take a little bit more money.
Yeah, it seems like one that Kenny was trying to get him to break through, and he just never did. So okay, it's an allowance horse. Yeah, and then how's Evan Roman on the 14 as a jock? Has he been doing all right here? I guess I could pull it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about him. From what I've seen, it hasn't been good or bad one way or the other. I don't know if he's getting like the best mounts even really to judge one way or the other anyways. But I know Lobo does use him quite often. So that's that's kind of his go-to here.
All right. In Lobo we trust?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, there we go. See if I can share my wager pad.
So what are we thinking here, Mark? What are you putting in here for a bet?
All right, so here's my superfecta builder. So this is just for a dime, and our heads are obscuring the cost. Well, actually, I can probably go up to it. So it's $22. So you can get, you can get a lot of combinations for a dime. And so what I'm kind of trying to do here is, pick the exacta, so to speak, 6, 7, 10, 13. I'm going to throw the 1 in second. And then kind of, like I said, a pseudo all in third. And, I've kind of learned you can kind of get burned. And then I'm just going to key the 4. I'm going to add the 14. They're both 20 to 1. But, if you start to follow this through, we both like the 6 and the 10. If that's the exacta, maybe you get something else in third and you get a 25 to 1. I think this will pay all right,
Right.
So what I'll do is I'm going to punch it for $22 and then flip it, because I've learned that's a big mistake to not do it with long shots. And so I'm going to flip them in third, and so that's $44, but we saw last race or 2 races ago paid about $280, so that's not bad. And then the other one I would do maybe is flip the third horses in second. I do that depending on how wide open the race is. I'm going to say that this race isn't that wide open, so I'm just going to stand pat with those in third. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do on the vertical side with the superfectas.
I like that a lot, actually.
So we'll see. I thought about this 5. I don't think he's terrible, but I think it's the other thing I like to look at is like it's almost like ranking them, So he's probably like, even as a closer, he's probably 8th best. So he would need to beat too many horses. But kind of like I was saying, if the pace gets hot, let's say the 1, 2, 3, 12 run out, now if you're 30 to 1, like the 4, you just don't have that much to beat, and especially if you're only aiming for 4th.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the 5. I think you've got a pretty good superfecta bet going there, but that might be one you use in like the 4th leg,
Yeah, exactly. 5th leg, you mean? Super high 5?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, the other theory where I'm going in is, let's say it's a 10-horse race. If you have a closer that's 30 to 1, they're not going to usually finish 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th because they're running at the end. And if they're not, 30 to 1, they're not going to run 1st or 2nd. So the outcomes that you're looking at are pretty much like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, in the middle. So I think it's just a little bit higher probability sometimes than people. I think too many people look at 30 to 1 to win and play it accordingly in 3rd in a try or 4th in a super, and it doesn't really make sense necessarily.
Now it looks like the 8's finally taking some money.
Yeah.
You're still on the 6. Okay.
Yeah. So you got your doubles down?
I do. Yeah. You know what? I actually played a 8, 10, 13 into the 2, 4.
All right. Awesome. Good luck with that. And what else? Anything else? All right, so we're starting to load here for race 3, and then it's going to be time for stakes and the big pick 4. So Steve says Hawthorne not taking Turfway signal, so he can't bet it. That's interesting. So he can see us, but not Turfway. Well, thanks everybody for following along, and all right, well, good luck here in the 3rd. Let's see if we get something logical or more Turfway chaos.
Fingers crossed over here.
All right. Well, I guess we're both allowed for 4 or 5, right? That's something.
Yeah, that's something.
Considering not many people probably have 5 of 5 going. All right, so it looks like 2's out, going out. The 12's can't get over. 14 super wide. And who's that getting lead? The 3? 2. Saint in the City. Who's up on the 2?
Let's see. I want to see what fractions are.
Yeah. And the 3 takes over at 60-1. So we got Julio Felix and Corrales and Vinny Cheminade on the lead there.
Well, it does look like Luis learned his lesson a little bit here. He is kind of chilly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're sitting with one of the favorites. That made sense. So this is where these get tough. Well, geez, they're not going that fast. 24.5.
Oh gosh, I thought it'd be a lot quicker. Okay.
Yeah. And that field's kind of bunched in the middle. You know, there's gonna be some little bit of tough trips. I mean, don't tell me this 3 is gonna wire at 60-1. We're gonna get a carryover for next week.
It's looking tough right now.
Yeah. All right. 6 has got horse, and whoever's wide of the 6 has got some horse too. All right. There we go. Complexion changes, right?
Yeah.
Is that the 13? 6-13. And that's probably the 10. The 10's flying. All right. 6. Who's coming? 13-10. Right, I need one of my bombs.
Oh.
16.
Just barely missed.
Sorry, man. That's tough.
That's all right. That 3 ran really strong. I was kind of scared there for a second.
Yeah, I know. I was mostly joking, but he was looking pretty good. Well, the 6 ran well. Your 10 ran great. Okay, but I would have never predicted that the 10 went off at 4-1, and the 6 went off at 9-2.
Oh wow! Yeah, wow. The 1 went off as the favorite. That flipped a lot.
Yeah. Wow, you're right. Yeah. Well, you were right to fade the 1.
Yeah, I think again that's just kind of the Brad and Kentucky factor there. It's just always going to take money, and if you can get around those horses, you're going to be in a good spot. Yeah,
for sure. The 3 ran third. It looks like it's a big third. My Romeo Lima. I mean, I guess they didn't go that fast, but
no. Once I saw the fractions, I was actually surprised. It looked like they were flying, and they were not.
You picked it up though, so from 24.59 to 48.09, 112.
Yeah, and for those fractions, all credit due to like that 10 ran a huge race there.
Yeah. I'm thinking that wondering if speed is actually okay based on I don't know. It's still early.
Well, I think as we go into some more of these stakes where the horses, let's say, of higher caliber, I think you can kind of like toss out like the outside stuff and maybe the closer stuff because they'll run through whatever the perceived bias is, right? Like they're just good horses. So I wouldn't take any of this, with too much consideration moving into some of the higher quality stakes.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and these are potentially a lot more formful horses too.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, and then let's see. So the pick 3, if you had that, 426 for 50 cents. A little tough to have the 60-1 in the middle though. All right.
Well, look at that. Luis, he kind of smartened up. He was kind of just, let's go to the front the first 2, and then look what happens. He's figured it out and might be dangerous now.
Yeah, exactly. That made sense. I mean, it made sense to let those horses go. He wasn't too far back though, was it? He about 5th or 6th?
No, he was not that far back. I'm really surprised about these price changes there because 92 on that 6 is actually pretty square in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if I knew that going into it, that might be actually on my ticket.
Right. Wonder what this exacta pays.
This super might be nice, Mark. The 3 got in there for 3rd.
Yeah, usually I'm going to play a closer in the superfecta, not a front runner to hold on like that. So I would have never played that 3, but I bet it's a good one. 570 on the try. Um, 10-7 on the super. Almost
Nice.
1,100 for a dime. Not bad.
Yeah, that pick 3 paid well. Yeah, that's solid if you had it.
Yeah. All right. We got a special guest joining us here. And let's see. Pop it in here. Travis, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
The voice of Churchill Downs. And you get a break during Turfway here?
Yeah. So roughed a little basketball this morning, watched a little bit this afternoon, and now ready to purge a little of the cash.
Same.
As Turfway is known for?
Yeah. It can it can burn quick there if you're not careful.
Well, appreciate you joining us, and
Yeah.
we're just kind of having fun going through these races. And we had Gary on earlier, which was great. A lot of
Oh, you
excitement.
had a royal visit.
Yes. Hey, man, it's year one of the synthetic championships. You know, we're going to look back, and if these machines keep going, it'll be like a $10 million day in a few years.
Feels like something we would have done at Louisiana Downs if we were A, still there, and B, had synthetic.
That's right. And C had purse money.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's right. I think I always remember the first year we were at Louisiana Downs, we had, I think we had a Bob, we had a Todd, and we had about 7 million total on the day, which was great.
It was definitely, I remember the 7. And,
super good.
Who trained Lawyer Ron? Who was that again?
That is a good question. I should know that.
Arkansas guy.
Yeah, good.
Holthus?
Sounds right. Yeah. Lawyer Ron was a nice horse.
Yeah.
And then Point Determined was the Bob that came in, I think.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And strong
We
contender.
had that. The other thing is we had the 3-year-old turf race that had like 12 in it, and you said never again.
Oh yeah, exactly. So fun time. So yeah, going back a few years, when that was when Travis got to start calling it Louisiana Downs. That was pretty cool.
I did 06.
Yeah, I got my start there too, but it was my end as well. My one race call.
I remember that. Yeah.
Travis threatened to put it on YouTube, and I was like, "Don't do that.
It might be out there. You never know."
It's probably unlisted."
Yeah.
Well, cool. So, how's your Turfway been going so far?
I've played a little bit. I haven't played a ton. My girlfriend she watched all the replays of the race that just ran a couple of back that Michelle Lovell won, and she actually was the groom of the dam, and for some reason didn't use it in her ticket. So yeah, she's over there sulking. I told her, I said, you just gotta, reload and fire again. That's all you can do.
Exactly.
Watch.
Well, we got a pick 4 coming up, so all stakes pick 4 for the synthetic champs day. So yeah, did you get a chance to look at the card?
I mean, I poked through. I mean, you know how it is. We're gonna look at it right now.
Exactly. So yeah, we kind of talked through this one, and we were saying this 4 was our top choice, but maybe pretty tepid at 2-1, 3-5. Wow.
That's a little short.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a coordination like this.
Yeah, I mean, unless it plays out like last race where we went in thought, Luis was going to be heavily bet, and then it ends up being 9-2 at the last click. But I don't foresee that happening here.
Yeah, it should stay favored, you would think, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So in a synthetic route, I mean, the horse is 2 for 2 at Turfway, 4 for 11 overall. So I mean, really good horse and a specialist, but I don't think it's a cinch by any means.
No. No, not at all.
The 2 races here last year, it won an allowance, but it was a 5-horse field. It looks like there was a hot pace. It just kind of set off it, came by at the end. beat the 8 here, take a stand. And then it beat Chop Chop in a stake last year. Probably it looks like on Ruby Day. And but it just kind of got to the lead on a slow pace and then just kind of, walked the dog all the way. So good races, but don't know that it has to be a world beater here.
No. It was a good race at Turfway, though, in March.
Yeah. I guess the question is, who else goes? Does this one send a little bit?
Man, if I had an early takeaway from Turfway, is that, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but for a lot of these riders, this is real money. That though they ride for real money at Churchill,
yeah,
big guns are in there against them. I get that there's some good riders in tonight, but they're very aggressive. They're not afraid to go, and with big fields and runs to the first turn and such. I think one of my big takeaways has been these paces have been faster than I expected them to be.
Yeah,
or they shake out a little bit on the quicker side than I expect.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the 3 with Fernando de la Cruz has got a little bit of speed. The 1, Evan Roman's got some speed on the turf, so that may or may not translate. Yeah, they probably don't want to just give the 4 the lead. And if anything, we've seen a couple long shots go out and hold on pretty well. So
yeah,
maybe they will be aggressive.
11 kind of has to go a little bit too.
Yeah.
Get position.
So, yeah, I was kind of 4 over 2, then maybe use the 7 or 8. Jay, you're still like 4 over 2?
Yeah, I wish I had a creative response. Still 2 over the 4. I think if I was going to use a price in here, I'd look at the 6, who just came off like a really, solid figure from Keelan on the turf, closing well. There's not a ton of speed in here really to close into, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to pull the trigger on that horse. But I think outside of the 2-4, if I'm looking for a price, I'm going to go with the 6.
Yeah, Cozy Rags.
What's wrong with the 8?
Yeah, I like the 8 a little bit.
Those are good races at Turfway last year.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them. And in her race at Churchill most recently got stuck behind a bit of a slow pace.
Yep. Yeah, definitely fits. And the 8 just lost by a head to the chalk here when they raced in March here.
Yeah. Right. So like one's 3-5 and the other is what?
14-1.
Right. And it's not like the 8 has gone off form. The 8's in form.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that race was great at Churchill last time. Looks like the race quality is pretty strong. I'm not really familiar with She's Looking Lucky in Kelly's grid, but looks like it was a good race. Wonder where we get to on the all stakes pick 4, and these pick 4s at Turfway are 14%, so they're paying great.
Yeah.
Oh, are they 14%? I thought that was the pick 5 takeout.
Yeah, no, it's 15 on the pick 5 and 14 on the pick 4 for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, you can't beat that. You can, but not many places. Let's see what the pool's up to already. Yeah, wow, already 60,000. And then Jay, you're a big fan of the 20-cent pick 6, right?
I am. It hasn't been so kind to me lately, but neither has Turfway in general. But yeah, I think the pick 6 typically, if you can connect, pays well. It's just, I mean, how hard is it to string together 6 races here at Turfway? Like, good luck.
That's like a non-starter. But what was that pick 6 that you hit? Was it last fall at Churchill? Like you did it for like a super skinny ticket?
Yeah. I want to say it was last fall. I want to say it was like a $28 ticket. But yeah, paid like 15 grand, give or take, something like that. Which was my biggest hit to date. So that was awesome. Now I'm, just trying to make it happen again here at Turfway. Maybe even scoop the pool. What could be so hard about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Some of my some very sharp friends, insist that bet at Churchill is one of the best bets in racing that nobody talks about.
It is a great bet. Yeah.
Yeah, it pays well. Obviously, it is a jackpot, but it's not the 50% pseudo takeout type scenario.
Yeah,
Right.
it's still like what, 90%, give or take. Like it's a great bet.
Yeah, yeah, and there's good
Yeah,
payoffs.
for sure. Yeah, and Turfway is a little different. Maybe it's like try to go from 6 to 5 and just try to get 4. I mean, really, you're getting paid if you even get 2 in a row. So,
By the way, that she's looking lucky. That beat Take a Stand. I
yeah.
knew I recognized it. Came back and ran second in the Cardinal closing
Oh,
weekend
okay.
to that Duvet Day. Was right on top of the pace, and Duvet Day came from quite a bit off it. So that's at least that
Wow.
form held up a bit.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, we can't really go 4 to 5 here. Ugh. So, okay, and then we got actually some time, so why don't we just go through the stakes real quick? So race 5, Travis, we kind of went through that, and we both kind of like the 5, and then I like the 14 as a bomb. That's my bomb in race 5.
Yeah.
Coming off of like a win streak at Indiana. And
Yeah, in form, doing well.
Yeah, and then who else were we on, Jay, in race 5?
Yeah, so I like your 14. Was also on the 4, just because I think it sits a trip in here with all the speed going on. I think Corrales can kind of sit off a little bit and make a run for it. But yeah, no, I was 4 or 5 in there as well.
Yeah, and I was 5 and 14, and then I was gonna maybe use as a B. I'm just trying to play around with. I think I'm gonna use BG Warrior as a B just because of how the horse is done, and then the 11, the Clement, Love Appeals. Horse loves to win, 5 of 13. Wasn't sure what to do with Nicest Pie. Feels like it's probably overmatched, and horse is undefeated at Turfway, so I can see that horse getting bet quite a bit. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nicest Pie runs a big one too.
I'm gonna use the 10 a little bit under.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to do supers, Travis. I hit race 1, I think it was. I hit a $270 super hit a couple times. So
yeah, so we actually tuned in on the phone at the restaurant. Saw that.
Right.
Yeah, I still reverse to this day. I love to reverse.
Yeah, I think the odds. I mean, you just get good prices. It's like one of the few areas. I mean, you just can't do it too often. Sometimes if I hit a couple, then it's the old like when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Yeah, you got to be careful. The other thing is it's easy to bloat your ticket a little bit and just spend a little bit too much. And then you hit it and you're like, well, this was my main sort of group of horses. I should have it a few more times rather than the bigger net,
Yeah. Yeah. But in some of these at Turfway, I mean, like that last one, I mean, you're looking at $1,500. It's like crazy. It's like if you do have something that you think can blow up, it just doesn't cost that much to start, putting some tickets together for $20 here and there.
No, and you can beat if you can beat horses like this 4 to 5, even get them out of the exacta. You're instantly cooking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think this horse could run out. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
this price is a little hard to take. 4 to 5. I mean, yikes.
It's like this. It's like Louis Saez night.
It just really is. Yeah.
Pounding the size. All right, so let's jump ahead because we got to pick forward to race 6. And we got Stiletto Boy in there, Wadsworth. Got another Cox there, favorite. And,
Shocked.
Yeah. Who did you have in race 6, Jay?
I landed on the 2 just because I don't think Peter is shipping this horse all the way from California over here to lose. It looks pretty strong on paper, has never run on the synth, but the recent form looks good to me. And then the other one I landed on was the 6, who is just the consistent type, right? You look at its synth form, it's 5 of 7. Running in a G2, a G3 over at Woodbine. Like it's hard to, play against that type, but I wasn't really mad at any of these horses in the field. I kind of like everyone. I just landed on those two for the most part. And I was a big Stiletto Boy fan. What was it? About this time last year when it was running at like Santa Anita and even Oakland Park, I thought this horse was super impressive. So maybe it comes over here and wakes up on the scent. But I just went with the 2-6 here.
Okay. Yeah, I was probably I was more on the 7-6. So yeah, looking at the Cox, the 6, like you said, super consistent on synthetic, and then the 1 and 8 were kind of my B's there. But interesting race, and then the 9 Paros, 4-1 morning line coming off the turf. It rode that turf rail on the Keeneland turf course, was kind of hot, although this horse won 4 in a row on the turf. But there's another Maker Sayas horse in race 6. I'm going to fade that one.
That race has to get hot because the 2 outside horses are speed and the 13 is real speed. So they're gonna try and go. And if anybody from the inside wants to get position, it's going to force them a little bit more. It just feels like you want closers in there.
Yeah. I thought the 8 potentially noises off. He's kind of maybe presser. Like, who's the deeper closers there? The 1.
Yeah, actually, the 8
Turfway
was
races though were good. Yeah, the 8's like a totally live horse. I just don't know. It doesn't feel 20 to 1-ish. It feels more 10.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the 8 was my third choice in there. I agree with Travis. I think that horse is live. And again, to his point, I don't think you're going to get that price. It'll probably drop, but I like that one.
Yeah. And I mean, the 1's a stone cold closer too, with Machado up. So I kind of thought you had to use him as a B at least. But
you can't toss that horse. Fits.
Yeah. So we were talking about the sire moves. Let me see if we got any sire moves in the 6. Nothing like too exciting. The 10, Wonderful Justice. Oh, that's a speed horse. So Justify actually 22% on synthetic routes, but only 54 so far. So, all right, we got Rodney, aka Hot Rod, with his all stakes pick 4 ticket in the chat. So, and we can take a look and take advantage of that. Yeah, I guess they're given a little more time here before the stakes kick off. We're still 14 minutes.
You got to get that money in.
It's up to 76 on the pick 4.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty nice. Okay, why don't we talk about race 7, since we got that one to round out the pick 4. Howard Wolowitz at 5-2, sprinting from the rail. Took a lot of speed in race 7.
Yeah, I really like the Howard horse. His BC turf sprint trip was, I mean, he got checked super hard. I think they mentioned it there in the notes.
Yeah.
But once he got corrected, if you look down the stretch, this horse had a lot of momentum. I thought it was a very impressive replay. That was my top pick in there. And then I also landed on the 8 one-timer just because we've got ET in town, I believe, if he's still on board. And then Larry, who's just been super hot here. So.
Yeah, but he's lost like 10% of his races.
Yeah,
it's getting cold. He's only 9 for 10.
Still, it's Larry at Turfway. It's always dangerous, I'd say.
Yeah.
That horse in the Keeneland, that turf sprint at Keeneland was I'd have to go back and watch the replay to remember specifically what happened, but he was very live in there on paper, and either he didn't break or he was very passive and like completely got outmoved by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like a local, he goes to Churchill, Doug Knockman was talking about this horse on the radio that day, or maybe like on Scott Shapiro Spaces. And it sort of turned me on to him a bit. And the horse got pounded. I think his morning line was higher, and it felt like he was live and nothing went right. That might be a little bit of a dirtied up option. Because you can draw a line through that Kentucky Downs race. Like, in many ways, what happens there stays there.
Right. And And then Jay, you were talking about Corrales and respect for Corrales. He's on the 14 shuffling to Bill Morey 20-1. They're pretty solid together.
Yeah. Horses done nothing wrong on the scent, that's for sure. Do you think we'll get that price at 20-1? It's got to come down a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but I love horses like that where he's.
Yeah, the only reason I had I was a little bit hesitant there is just the horse is not on Lasix here. You go back, it was running on Lasix, did pretty well. The race that it was not on Lasix at Turfway, ran a decent second, but that's what kind of, I guess, maybe pause for a moment.
I think that Candy Overload race got melted down, if I recall, and I love his first 3 synthetic races where he's just kind of stalking from 3rd or 4th, which I think he can do from the outside. I think that the race you're talking about, I think he had to go from the rail a little bit, and plus you get him in here second off the layoff, so it's like it looks like he's kind of pointed for this, right? So he just gave him his prep in New York and coming right here for it.
In that March stake, the horses that ran 1-2 came from behind him, so it did collapse a bit.
Okay. Yeah, and I think too, I mean, sort of like similar to Nicest Pie in the other stake, it's like horses doing so well at Turfway, so they're just like these stakes come out, they're totally pointing for it, so at least you get the benefit of the trainer's intent was to have him peek in here.
Yeah.
What about Dream Shake? Former Santa Anita Derby, 3rd, 2nd in the Pat Day Mile, 4th in the Woody Stevens. But he's got one step.
I just wasn't crazy about the layoff. And this race is stacked. I was just looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Demolition Dukes. Nothing special. Let's see. It's interesting looking at the sire stats. Good Magic is terrible as a turf sprinter. He's actually 2% winner on turf sprints and 12% on synthetic sprints. But this horse, I mean, you've seen him, Travis, at Churchill and stuff. He was just kind of knocking on the door. He finally broke through last time. I don't know. I don't want to say they gifted it to him, but at some point, like, he finally had to win.
Yeah, that race came apart a little bit too. Even though the rails were out. What about the Clement horse, Senbei?
Senbei,
the 6.
Yeah. I mean, those
last race sort of stayed together a little bit. Might have been on the Aqueduct turf was a little bit wonky. This horse not on the best part of it. Has a lot of good races on paper. Right running style.
Yeah.
The sneaky good synthetic race at Woodbine a year ago. So, it can handle at least some sort of alternative surface.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Vinny Chamino, but yeah, I mean, the horse is doing really well right now. Yeah. That Belmont race is a grade 3 or Backwaduct. The back. And then what about the 3 Run Carson? Debuting on the
when he ran second at 36-1 at Saratoga, my dad bet him.
Oh, really?
He still had to try, made good money on the race, but that was gross.
36-1. Ricardo.
In my opinion, probably the horse to beat. I think Run Carson's not only good in this race, but is good for I would say major turf sprint objectives all next year. I think that horse is really nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And then, Howard Wolowitz, I agree with you, Jay. I mean, that horse ran huge at Del Mar and the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. He ran huge at Kentucky Downs. I think he's going to get pounded, though. So,
yeah, you're right. You're not going to get a great price out of it. I just thought it was the most likely winner, but that's what everyone else is going to think. So,
yeah. I mean, if they all kind of go from from every direction. I mean, yeah, it could set up for the 3. I do like that 14 on the outside.
It's a good race.
Yeah, that might be my favorite race of the sequence. All right, so we got 7 minutes to this race, and the 4 is still even money. So we play the old. It seems everywhere now. Are you buying or selling at even money?
Ugh, it's kind of scary, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm going to start the stakes pick 4 here and go 2-5 instead, which isn't much better, but at least it's not even money, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll sprinkle in the 6 as well.
All right. Travis, are you on the 4 at all at even money?
Nah, no. I can find better even monies.
Yeah. Bet a football game tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might try and get this 8 to make a move here.
Yeah, I like that 8. I mean, it was 14-1 down to 10. Probably stays at 7 or 8-1, something like that. I mean, if the 4 is going to get beat, it seems like it's got to be the 2, 7, or 8. Get a little bit more price on the 8. And then, the 5, I wasn't sure what to do. Like, it seemed like its synthetic numbers weren't quite good enough, but those were early in the year. So it's, older now at the end of the year. And if you extrapolate in the dirt, then maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought with the 5, like, this price is not great either. I thought it would float up a bit more, and maybe it will, but like even at 9-2, it's not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's just a little hard to get excited about at 9-2. So Rodney says, AKA Hot Rod, as asking the panel, nice as pie or BG Warrior, or I guess neither. Any takers? I want to touch BG Warrior, but
yeah, I am not on BG Warrior, unfortunately.
Travis, do you like either of those?
I like nice as pie a little bit.
Yeah, that's a nice horse.
Yeah. Trying to make a case for the 11 before they load into the gate here in this 4th race.
Well, we're just about to crack 100 in the pick 4 pool. Yeah, I mean, I agree in not using the 4. It's like you can always just reload, even though it's nice to hit all stakes pick 4. It's just this stuff is so tough at Turfway and it all pays, so it's like you don't really want to start your pick 4 off of a 65.
No.
Yeah, the 11. Yeah, hard to know. I mean,
the winner of the race 2 back came from 11th. The runner-up came from 12th. The winner of the last race at Aqueduct came from 8th and 5th. So sort of close to races that collapsed a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not totally convinced of a hot pace in here, probably get some early position. Maybe outruns the odds a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I was a little down on the synthetic race, but it's kind of hard to gauge.
Live race. 3 horses came out of it to win.
The Gulfstream race?
Yeah, back in March. That was also the first race the horse had since August.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. All right, there you go. I'm with you. I'll buy that.
All this for the 4 to win by 5, but whatever.
Right. Yeah, but you just don't lose that much trying to beat it. I guess, all right, so the 5's probably a cut below. The 6 is probably a cut or 2 below. The 7 has a couple races where it's kind of knocking on the door, but it's a claiming race at Turfway, so it's hard to like that. Although ran good at Churchill, coming off 3 wins, 7's 5-1.
A little bit leery that all the 7s, not all of them, some of the nice wins were with soft, easy leads.
Yeah,
against small fields, or non-3 type races, just much softer spots.
Yeah. What was your take on the 2? I mean, he kind of looks like the second choice, but I just thought it was weird. Like he's run really big in some slow paces and came off it, but he's only got a couple wins. It's let's see, Woodbine Stakes, and he's got 3 wins.
Just worried that she's off form.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, a hot pace, it should have probably closed a little more, but and then that was a mile and a quarter, so who knows? And I got to play some doubles into my 14 in the next, just in case. Yeah.
What about this one? Is this one like a ridiculous price at 31 to 1?
It's not terrible.
I mean, the overall pattern is developing. That was a really solid number last time out.
Yeah.
It's drawn down inside. I guess Lasix off is a concern, but I mean, the horse is a huge price.
Yeah. I think the way the track's playing, I mean, that horse could go to the lead and hang on for a piece for sure.
Yeah, that has to be the game plan for that horse, right?
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah. I just don't like it to win, but
no, feels like a reach up top.
Yeah.
This really isn't a reversing race, is it?
No. The next one is, I think. But this one's a little tough.
Mark, how's your Spanish? I see a 7 amigos, something.
No hablo español. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We're getting closer here. We got they're getting near the gate. Oh, we got a few in the gate.
Yeah, that was a real quick camera switch there.
Yeah, they sometimes do that. That's yeah, that is pretty quick. All right, well, good luck, everybody. If you're getting down here in the start of the Synth Championships, all stakes pick 4. And wow, that is really fast. They're just going to throw them in. Are they? Wow. Okay, I got my doubles in. Yeah, they do kind of throw them in pretty quick. Now, we don't have the benefit of Tony Kalo telling us that it was go time. But, all right.
Well, what a shocker. 4 trying to send here.
And pick 4 went up to 215.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty strong.
Okay. I mean, like, yeah, let's rate off Saez going 25.
I don't think that 11's in a bad spot, though. I mean,
no.
8's probably in the best spot of all. Just track those 2. And just save something. Contreras. 7. Let's see. 5 is in a decent spot, too. I mean, if you're the 4, I don't know that this is really what you want, right? Although that's what, 49? I guess that's fair.
I mean, you're not complaining.
Yeah, that's decent enough.
I'd still rather have this 8 here. I mean, the 8's making a nice move. I guess Saez has got horse, though. Well, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything to threaten him.
Oh,
6-5 and unchallenged, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many times we've seen this mistake by other riders, letting him go on a soft pace like that?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching a race in New York.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the one that being the only shot, but they didn't get aggressive and send. Yeah,
boy, that 8 ran really well too. Dang.
Yeah, he did. Well, give credit to Saez. I mean, that was one he just closed the door. Let's not leave any doubt, you know.
Yeah, he had everything his way there.
Yeah. 5 ran good. Came second up the rail, I think, right?
The
on the
Everland's a
8th.
nice horse. That's actually a good return to form for her. She'll probably have a good winter.
Yeah, definitely. Thought she ran a huge race when she won that race on Ruby Day. All right. Well, that quick load saved me some pick 4 money.
I know. I like the races closed error was welcomed in this instance.
Yes. Oh man. But all right, Gary will be happy. Let's see, 760,000 there.
Although we're giving him a hard time about the quick turn to the gate while they're half loaded.
You're texting him?
Yeah. I said, dude, half the field loaded before they showed the gate.
Yeah, the camera work's important, because it's like when you're moving around and you're looking at, your PPs and other stuff, and then you make a quick turn and you don't see them anywhere near the gate. It's like, oh, I got time.
Yeah.
Let's see what we're handling here.
Well, what do we think the payouts are going to look like for this pick 5, Mark? I mean, it's been relatively formful outside of that 6.
I know, but that's a killer, right?
That 6 is a huge number in that sequence.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess $7,000 to the favorite, probably.
Yeah, it's probably right. I mean, somewhere in there. I mean, I guess the 6 was in the last race was kind of, $11, but it was one of the morning line choices. The problem is they're all spread races, right? Even the Cox in the first, you could have spread 3 or 4 easy. And even if you go all, I guess you'd probably catch these other 3 races for sure, but it adds up quick if you're going all in that first race.
Yeah, and I wasn't really paying attention, but the 2 just didn't do anything in that race, did it?
No.
I don't even think I saw it on the screen there.
Yeah.
No, non-factor. So
do y'all think that the jocks start speeding up if Saez is taking it to him and
I don't know. I think it's a little bit of the FNX thing. Remember when Mike Smith was on FNX in the Breeders' Cup? He's like, well, I can't beat this horse. I might as well try and ride for second. You know?
Right.
Which is tilting, but it is what it is.
The super lame throw the white towel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Faro Breeders' Cup Classic. He wasn't even remotely challenged.
No.
FNX 36-1, right?
No, the one time he was challenged, we got the money with Keen Ice.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, he was well spotted.
Yeah,
nice horse, but well spotted.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not going to pay anything great. 6-5 over 3 middle prices. So, all right, we got a reverse race 5. Travis, can you hang with us for one more?
Yeah.
All right. We'll try to take it home here.
Wish we had another half furlong in this race. It's such a big difference trying to reverse horses going 6.5 versus 6 or 7 versus 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. I mean, as a horse, this 3 Baby No Worries. I've played this horse at Turfway a bunch and hit it on a couple of nice occasions, and could be a nice little reverser here. And when we say reverser, we're talking about a long shot kind of bomb to play in 3rd and 4th. Hit the super or the try with the bomb at the bottom.
Yeah.
Blinker's on, though. I don't know what they're doing. Blinker's on. Trying to get it to wake up. All right, there's payoffs. We got over 1,200 people watching, which is great, with all the different places you can watch the stream on YouTube or X Twitter or Facebook or wherever you may be. And if you have comments, fire those through. I'm trying to think. I know we can definitely see the comments coming through YouTube. But if you have any comments or any questions for Travis Stone, fire away in the comments, and we'll try to get to him. So yeah, the pick 4 should be be interesting how that plays out with that big pool. All right, so we got the late pick 5. If anybody's brave enough for that, I'm gonna probably sit that one out and focus on these stakes right here. But Jay, I'll throw up your picks for the card so we can look at what you had the rest of the way.
Sure. Yeah, I would play a late pick 5, but that last race is not ideal for me.
Yeah. There's kind of half screen, but there's all right. So you are on the 4-5 here.
Yeah. Again, not really reinventing the wheel here. I do like the 5 the most. I think that's probably my top choice, just because I just don't know how nuclear this pace is going to be. I think with BG Warrior in here, it's got to go quick, and I think the 5 might be able to keep up just enough to kind of finish off if BG Warrior quits, which is what I'm expecting. But if not, then that's the way it goes.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool.
The whole key to this pace is those inside 2 horses.
In this race?
Yeah.
Miss Arlington, I mean, she seems like just that Mahoning race, I don't know how, I mean, I guess speed kind of held on that day. She just kind of gunned out of there, and then Size is even riding it back, which is interesting.
Well, I get that. I mean, Nice as Pie is
oh, that's true.
That's not legitimate, budding graded stakes type horse, whereas Miss Arlington's a little bit, you know what you're getting.
Right. What, a listed stakes horse.
There's just no, I mean, I guess Corey could sort of be passive coming out of there, which would give the 2 the head start. But I find that hard to believe. He's going to look at the PPs and see that what happened last time, and he's going to rate her.
Right. Where were you on the 11 with the Clement?
Love Appeals.
Yeah.
Like nothing against.
Yeah.
A contender, major player. 6-1's a good price.
So BG Warrior goes and hangs on, or goes and fades?
That is the question.
I mean,
Lasix, there's no Lasix for the horse today, but all the non-Lasix races have been solid, so I don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And this is Flo's type trip where even if the others sort of bust out of there from the rail, he's good at that wide stalking type ride.
Uh-huh. I mean, she's so fast though. Like
she's supposed to be on the lead.
Yeah, she should be faster than the 1-2. I mean, like, what do you do on, like, what does Lannery do on Miss Arlington if BG Warrior just blows out by 2 or 3 lengths? Just start chasing her.
Yeah, move up into a stalking trip and try and tip out, or sit a pocket. Corey doesn't mind doing the Calvin Burrell thing either, so he's fine risking it down inside.
Yeah. All right, and then Charles, you were talking about reversing the 10 as a bomb for 3rd or 4th. I mean, I think there's something there.
Yeah, kind of against the track a little bit at Kentucky Downs and Keeneland 2 back. Has really good races at Turfway. Probably not races that can win, but we're not trying to win. We're trying to just get her on the board.
Yeah.
And if BG Warrior does bust it out of there, that probably puts the 1 and the 2 on the chase, which might make them a little bit uncomfortable, which I think opens up the race underneath a bit as well. So, and she's also 45-1, so whatever.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm going to reverse the 3, probably the 10, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this 14. I still want to play this 14. I'm probably going to play this 14 in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th just to kind of have coverage if it can hang in there.
3 at 48-1 is a better bet than the 10 at 45-1, in my opinion. But both comparable. I do like the 3 as a reverser.
Yeah,
as well.
Cool.
So BG Warrior is taking a ton of money. I think it just clicked down to 5-2, which is very surprising.
Wow. Okay. Huh. And nicest pie is 3-1. That makes sense. All right. So looking at the doubles, nicest pie is favored slightly. So the double nicest pie is $10. To the 5, $13. To the 4, $17, and to the 11, $18. And then so BG Warriors. Oh yeah, the 8, $13. So playing the 6 over the 5, 8, 4, 11. So kind of wide open there.
I'm a little bit surprised by that price. I'm just trying to figure out what the factor is here. I mean, you've got flow up, reset. Do we think that changes at all as we kind of get closer to post time?
Not if it's second choice in the double.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, it's gonna be bet pretty good. I mean, they're all kind of clustered together, so probably like a 5-2, 3-1, 7-2 kind of thing. Which I think that even accentuates the prices even more if you can get like a bomb in the super.
What about your 14, Mark? Currently 49-1. That's not too shabby.
I'm on it. I'm down with that. Yeah, my play there was its synthetic races did not look good, but at that time, it just wasn't running anything fast.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's a shot. It's a million to one. So
I think the real value here is the 5 right now at 9-2.
Oh yeah, 5. I mean, I think that was my top choice. That was Jay's top choice.
That's a great price.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Let's just hope it sticks.
Yeah. I mean, I think BG Warriors, just like, people have seen it, you get wired too many times where that horse has just gone out like a bullet and like, holy crap, it doesn't stop and doesn't win every time, but those wins get burned in your memory.
Yeah, you know what's funny about BG, and this is kind of the reason I didn't really consider it here, but I had a note. So on October 24th, that last race at Keeneland for BG Warrior, I had an overall card note that said speed was pretty good on this day on both turf and dirt. So I don't know if there was an excuse that day. That was my note for the card. And you can see just didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah. I think she just went so fast and she didn't clear. But it's the first start in the Brissett barn. Does that mean anything?
Yeah, Brissett hasn't been great here at Keeneland. Granted, it's a very small sample size. But what was the record coming into this? I think he was, I don't know, close to 30 or 40% coming into here.
At Turfway?
No, was it Churchill, I believe? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the 5, I mean, definitely. That's definitely a right price.
Rudy is 18%, $1.86 ROI off a trainer switch for what that's worth.
Not bad.
I gotta be honest with you though, like I've sort of I've jumped off these trainer stats a bit. I've done some studies on it. I think they might be a little bit fugazi. There's so much variance from start to start, and the sample size of trainers making starts is not large enough. I just think it can kind of mislead you a bit.
Agreed. Yeah. That's why we try to use that impact number, but even that, you're dealing like 18 starts or whatever. It's just not enough.
Even if you get to 50 starts, the variance, like the within start variance in a 50 start sample is so huge,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
if 10 of them are off a layoff, 5 of them are second, like you just introduce all sorts of noise.
Yep. Well, I'm going to try to, I'm out of the pick 4 anyway. I'm going to try to do a pick 3 here. And I think when we talked through race 6, it seemed like there was a lot of pace in there. So I think that can be reasonably formful. And just a matter of getting this race right and then getting to race 7. But I mean, I think that'll pay really well. Like if you start off with the 5 here, get one of those closers in the next, I mean, it should be a good pick 3.
Yeah.
Like I'm growing up to the idea that the 6 is actually becoming an underlay here soon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, this the speed figures were lighter at last meet. They should definitely progress, and the horse definitely likes to track. But it doesn't. There's some really good horses in here, so it just seems like a low price.
That press style race was a bit of an egg too. Like nobody came out of that to run particularly well.
Yeah.
Nobody won out of there. In fact, they're all 0 for whatever.
Yeah, the Roses for Deborah race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that race bugged me on the 3 as well. But I mean, obviously the 3's 57-1, so who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about Nicest Pies. Like, all right. I mean, actually, really love the horse. It was fun watching her ride all 4 in a row last year. But I mean, 5-2. She's still 3-year-old filly against older, and I don't know, blinkers on, and they're trying to make stuff happen. I mean, it just seems like way too low of a price.
I guess you could argue on the flip side, like she was really good, and they probably got ambitious stretching her out. She probably overachieved a bit. Obviously, something happened. Regardless of how you feel about the Presque Isle Masters, it was not an awful return race for a layoff.
Oh no!
And then I don't know. I get that was a pretty ambitious spot to go and stretch back out.
Yeah,
definitely. She feels like a true, one-turn closer type.
Right.
But now they're putting blinkers on, and you're like, are you just panicking here? Are you, Yeah.
It's working well.
It's just a short price for a horse with question marks. Because,
Right.
like, if we don't like the Presque Isle Masters, the last race wasn't much at all. So you're banking on just a return to form because it liked Turfway last year,
And she was 2-5 and 1-5 in a couple of those races too. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a nice kick. I mean, but I mean, like the 5s, I don't know. I guess the 5's synthetic numbers weren't as high. Although it's coming out of some nice races at Keelan and Churchill.
Yeah, I was kind of willing to forgive those though. Coming from last year, even if you look past that when it was at Indiana, the horse still wasn't doing a whole lot. And it's really like within the last, 3 months, it's kind of woken up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we talking about?
The 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, give me the 5 at 9-2 over the 6 at 5-2.
And I mean, how often do we see Corellis and Ward here at this price as well?
Yeah.
Wesley's my kryptonite.
It's tough.
It's really damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing.
Oh, can't stand it.
I mean, does this 4 really close that well? I mean, it sort of looks like it, but
it's just more or less, in my opinion, it's kind of, are we expecting a big collapse, no collapse? Like that really kind of factors into it.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are going to have to sit what? If BG Warrior flies out and those others chase, they're going to have to be a good 7-8 links off it and just be patient, right? Make a run at the end.
Yeah.
That race, well, I'm looking at Turfway for me. I'm trying to like make a case for some of these good Turfway winter horses not being as good this time around.
Yeah.
Wesley.
I mean, this Ward horse is 4 for 6 on synthetic sprints, so he's definitely a specialist.
I just don't recognize any of the horses that she beat in that February race where it says she was tons the best or whatever. I mean, 3 horses came out of it to win.
Well, I mean, the 4 did beat BG Warrior here back in 2023, if that means anything to anyone, here at Turfway.
Yeah. Maybe I just go stick with the 14, Jay.
I mean, at this point, what are you getting? What is it, 50 to 1, 49 to 1?
49.
Oh, yeah.
You have the horse as a win contender or just an underneather?
I was playing as a win contender.
Oh, boy.
Well, I just think it's unexposed in the sense that we can sit outside, track the pace. It's putting in bit of middle moves. It's like winning under hand rides at Indiana. And it's just not, I don't know, it just seems sort of untested, and now it's back on synthetic. It just seems like it's a completely different horse.
It is an unknown commodity.
That's kind of what I was going for. And I mean, I guess it would have to like track the pace and, 5th and, have BG Warrior stop, get to the front before the 5 and the 4 and 6 can get there. So it's probably better play underneath, but
I like it, Mark.
all right, let's do it.
I mean, the company lines are decent. I'm like poking through some of the charts.
Yeah.
It's not like it's, you're not finding 10K claimers.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that Timeform says that last race was closing in the slop, but even 5 furlongs in the slop from an outside post at Indiana, that's not exactly a recipe for coming off the pace and winning.
Although the runner-up of the race 2 back, Go Storming Girls, a 4K type claimer, 4 or 5K. Yeah.
It was 1 to 9 in there.
Yeah.
So,
but like is also 48 to 1 right now. So whatever.
Right. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it would be a bit of a price, but it's not like we haven't seen 59 to 1 already.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. 6 taking some money now.
Okay. Yeah, Jay, where were you on the ward? You're playing him, or?
I'm alive in the stakes pick 4, unfortunately, with that 4. But yeah, I went 4-5 here. I'm surprised that the money BG Warrior's taking. I guess like the public is thinking like Brissett's ready to turn this horse around. Is that kind of where you were at, Mark, like with this one?
I just respect BG Warrior that, when it's her day and the track's right, she doesn't stop. And is that today? And is it this track? I don't know. I haven't seen anything on so far to say that you couldn't wire on a crazy pace tonight. So I don't know. But I mean, that was different when she was 10 to 1 morning line at 7 to 2. It's like,
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like Travis's 10 as well. I think you guys should just jump on the 10, jump on that 14, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10-14 bucks.
There you go.
Buy Turfway by the end of the weekend.
There you go. Can we buy one slot machine? One AJ drum machine? How much do those cost?
Good question.
Revenue sharing agreement.
Yeah.
Travis, it's funny. Not that you'll ever remember this, but last year, I think it was last year, the Jeff Ruby steak, I was walking outside and I passed you, and I kind of like stumbled over some of the electrical cords that were kind of set out for the machines outside.
Mhm.
Almost spilled my beer on you, but just kept walking, played it cool. Nothing ever happened. So small world. Now we're on here.
If you had fallen, I would have laughed because I can't help but laugh at people that fall. It's a sickness of me.
You would have been completely in the right as well.
Yeah. And you would have heard me too, because I do it right out loud.
And you're talking about at Turfway?
Yeah, at Turfway, yeah.
I still haven't been to the new Turfway. I got to check it out.
I had a killer day that day. I was hot.
Yeah.
It was a good day for me.
I had a killer day at the buffet with the food. Outside of that, not so much.
That was good food.
Oh, yeah. I heard it was.
Well, it's Jeff Ruby's, so it was it was off the charts.
Yeah, I think I had at least 20, 25 shrimp, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, are you coming out this year, maybe? Have you decided?
Yeah, I hope to. It should be good. Should be good timing. Get some good weather. All right. I'm going to put up my reverser ticket. Travis, you can maybe help me too. All right. Let's see if that works. All right. So that's kind of the bones of it. I'm like throwing out the 1 and the 2 speed. But what I like to do, like if I really like horses at 40 to 1, I mean, what I like to do is play it wide. Like in this case, is not like get too picky with Nice's Pie and Sunday Shoes and just take them all. So this ticket's $42, principally because I've got 3 reversers. And I also got like the 14 in second, which is pretty high. I could like take that off and then drops it a little.
One thing I've been doing, because like when you look at this ticket, it's which is a good ticket, but then you're like, man, what if which is easy to do in this scenario, you start what ifing. I have started to take like the 6 and dropped it from first and second and rotated horses up to hopefully back into a cheaper base ticket, but then also potentially back into 20 or 30 cents on something if I have to be really smart,
So that drops it to 26. And I think what you're saying is then just take that second leg and move it up.
Yeah, you're spending what? You was 42 before, so you're spending very little more.
Yeah.
And the only thing you're doing is you're kind of going against Nice's Pie a little bit on the win end. But okay,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't mind that. Like even doing what I do if I really like the horse is I'll play the tickets once in third and fourth, and then I'll just kind of narrow, right? And I'll start taking some horses off.
Yeah.
Because like my main opinion is probably, you could also play this way is just take the 5-8 on top is my main opinion. And then I could also flip them in second and just say, okay, but then you're just, it's a wide open race. Then they got to run 1-2, one of them.
The only thing that I'm like, I'm getting a little gun shy on is this 2, who I think the 1 is speed. I think the 1's supposed to be speed, but the 2 has rated fine many a times.
Mm-hmm.
And if the 1 goes and the 8 goes, or just the 8 goes, the 2 has the 1 to its inside already. So it can sort of sit a good stalking trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I see that I'm like 8-1 would be really annoying for it to go 9-2, 8-1, reverser, right? And then you have nothing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So this ticket right here is $19 as is, which is really cheap, really. So then it's like what I would typically do, play those in third and fourth. So now I'm at the, $38. I would definitely want to, do something like that. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
what do we got? 5 minutes. Yeah, and it's just the other thing too. Sometimes do you look at it like, so let's see. All right, so we got a 12-horse field. I'm tossing 2 horses that I'm comfortable tossing, so it's a 10-horse field, and I'm immersing 3 horses, so it's kind of like the same thing, right? So I only need 1 to hit, so that makes it an 8-horse field. So I need one of those horses to beat, everybody except 3 of the other 7. So there's really 7 horses I'm trying to get past.
Yeah, what makes this tough is when you have 3 reversers, your ticket goes up quick.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and the 14 is more of like, I don't know, just kind of wanted to play that in every spot more than reverse. So I might do that separate, just play.
The other thing for me with the 14 is if you obviously legitimately like it, and like win bet insanity insurance.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
Because I would go insane if it won for fun and I didn't have anything.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. To have it on top, like that's where you get into these like $1,000 supers, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which is really annoying.
Yeah, because if you've sniffed out a reverser that you like, sometimes they win, and
oh yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, 4 minutes. Any other thoughts, guys?
No, I think we got it. The super's gonna hit.
All right.
The 6 is going to keep taking money, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Scott's asking how often we stream like this. We've been trying to do it more every Wednesday, kind of the start to the Turfway week, and but with the big races, we wanted to do one here for Saturday night. So we got people picking the 8-10, the 5 to win, 6-8-11 exacta. So yeah, fire your picks away in the chat. I'm gonna fire my supers and see if I can get something here. Still don't know what to do with that ward though.
No, that's why he's annoying.
Yeah. All right.
He would be like, if I had to label them, if you had to label like your reverser horses, your A's, your B's, and your R's, if you will, he'd be a B to me. Yeah. Like for him to win, I have to be really right in second and third.
Yeah, that's kind of. All right, I'm firing away. All right, win sanity insurance, you say?
Yeah.
The
roaster just texted he's on the 11.
All right.
I don't know how much that's worth.
Toss the 11?
Maybe. Possibly.
He's been on a heater. Ed said he's been doing pretty well the last few weeks.
When he hits a hot hand, he's got a hot hand. Give him credit.
Actually, let's see. All right. All right. Well, this is a heck of a betting race. Yeah, you're right. The 6 just keeps coming down.
Yeah.
So that's a nice price on the 5. What do we got in the pools here? Oh, 188 in the pick 5 pool. Pretty nice.
That is nice. Yeah, I'm going to play a win bet on the 5 here. I think that's a great price.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I'm gonna play BG a little bit. I mean, I was wanting more than 4 to 1, but What do
I
you
mean, there is a chance that horse just busts out of the gate and wires them because nobody else.
Yeah,
really
I mean,
wants
because
to
like
go.
you said, the 2 could rate. I just don't think the 14, the one and the 2 are even that great. Like they're not going to push that much.
Yeah, so in the pick 5, nicest pie is 4,300. BG Warrior is 10 grand, if that means anything. Kind of what the board's telling us.
Yep.
Getting close here. All right. There you go. All right. Good luck, everybody. There's BG. He's not sending too hard. He's letting the 1 go. They're rating.
That's great.
Yeah, let's see how that works out. I mean, the horse is slightly rated before.
Mr. Arlington is not a slouch to allow
Right.
this.
Yeah, you're just opening up another horse into the race.
What's this 10 doing in third on the outside?
Well, did you have it to win?
No, I didn't. I did not win Sanity this.
I was about to say win Sanity on that. All right, here comes Nicest Pie.
Oh, this 10 looks good.
The 9's hanging in there too.
Wow. Travis, you called it, man.
Yeah. I was about to say this 10 could win, but wow.
I don't think I think I missed on the super. My girlfriend's over there celebrating. At least somebody hit something.
All right, well, that's good.
God dang, that horse ran huge.
Yeah. Bang.
Let's see, 2144. It wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
37 to 1 on this thing. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's got in a good spot. And there you go. Sophie Doyle. Outside, too. Outside track and speed.
What a big race. Good for that horse. That's awesome.
Who was the 9 was second? Man, I just overlooked the 9 from Go to Woe.
The 9 caused you to miss?
Yeah, I had no 9.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's brutal. Rough. 11 got pounded.
14 came for a run late, just wasn't quite good enough.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering. Miss Arlington's last there. Wow, that's going to be spicy.
Yeah, that'll be a nice exacta for sure.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so that wraps the pick 5 up with a pretty big payoff, I'm sure. Well,
You have the exacta? My girlfriend hit the exacta.
wow.
Wow.
Do you really? And she got a good win bet. Okay.
Love it.
I gotta send her my Venmo.
We should have had her on here. What are we doing?
Yeah, no shit. She did mention this horse earlier.
Oh, man. 18 grand on the pick 5. Wow.
Man, that 9. I mean, I'm looking at this. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess I just was never.
I didn't like 370 on the exacta. Wow. That's a keeper.
Yeah.
Yes. Gizmo Hardy says had the 10 with a few, but not the 9.
Yeah, 9 was.
Chris says, who does she like in the 6th?
Let's not encourage this. She handicaps a lot. She loves to play the races.
All right.
Oh man.
You all compete.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
she does. She does. I don't. You know it is at the track. When you start competing with people, you start losing. You have to be excited for others when they win.
That's right. That's very true. Well, nice job, Olivia. That's a big hit.
Oh man.
Yeah. Now then you start playing that like, oh, if I had the pick 3, if I had the double. The double was 220.
That's the problem with like reversing and stuff. When you get into that mode, you just sort of you don't play as many multis as you should. And like obviously this horse in a multi is just massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there was enough in there. I mean, it's just tough that the 5 and 6 look really well intended, but with BG Warrior, I mean that's your recipe for the chaos right there.
Yep.
So that was always had high probability.
The first thought of Quarry sending from the inside was the one that panned out.
Yeah.
Should have just gone on with that.
Yeah, I mean, once those two were out of it, I mean, it's just tough though. Like this, I mean, the 10 wasn't bad. It's just, didn't run great on the dirt. Hadn't run great on the turf lately. Its synthetic races were okay.
Just a reverser type,
Yeah.
Sometimes they outrun themselves. I mean, and the horse ran huge today.
Yeah.
Was against the track at Keeneland.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So hope everybody kind of sticks with the 2 more stakes to go and the rest of the card. We're going to sign off here, but awesome support. We've got over 1,300 people watching right now, which is amazing. And if you're watching and it's on different channels, so you might not see that number because it's on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're watching. Appreciate your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you subscribe to the channel, then every time we do one of these, you'll get kind of a little pop from YouTube when stuff comes on. Also, in the YouTube comments, we've got a free Siren Moves report for tonight. You can still take advantage of that anytime. On the YouTube in the comments or in the description, there's a link to where you can get that, and there's also a 50% offer for our pro reports. And those are some big payoffs.
How about that tri-ping? So to me, the dime is a little bit light. I'd be a little bit annoyed at 1,400 for the dime.
Yeah.
But the try at nearly 1,700 for 50 cents, that's a huge number.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Wow, almost 1.1 million there. So Gary was hoping, he said, for 5.5, and they're already at about 3.6 million.
Yeah, that's a free lunch for you tomorrow, Mark. And Travis, I think you're getting a free dinner as well after that exacta hit.
Yeah.
Bang. There you go.
That?
Yeah. Or DoorDash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, awesome. Well, Travis, thanks for joining us. It was awesome. Jay,
my pleasure. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Jay, thanks again. It's been great capping the card with you again.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, everybody, we'll keep doing this on usually on Wednesday nights, but like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get alerts when we're going live, and go pick some winners and cash some money for big races to go. So thanks, everybody.
All right, y'all. See ya.
All right, see you.